Hello and welcome back to this edition of Premier League Predictions with myself, Matthew Christ, Manchester United and Celtic and Scotland legend and four-time Premier League winner Brian McClair joins me, as he's done all season, to take a look at the games taking place this weekend. And we start off, Brian, with one of your stalwarts this season. It's Everton at home to West Ham.
After this journey of going through all of these fixtures as we have done this season, Matthew, I got this thing in my head about delving into a little bit deeper into the parts of the history of the Premier League members and Everton who played West Ham. What I fell upon, and I decided to plough down the line to see if there was any kind of connections between football and other hobbies or sports, perhaps. Everton were originally formed as St Domingos at a meeting in the Queen's Head Hotel in Liverpool, and as the cricket was obviously around up before football, so a lot of football clubs were cricket and football clubs playing cricket in the summer and then football in the winter. Mahatma Gandhi drank in the Bowling Tavern in East Ham, would you believe, before going to see West Ham play at the Bowling Ground. Everton 2, West Ham 1.
First of all, you've excelled yourself again with these statistics, but if that was the case, Everton will be wishing they'd employed David Moyes early in the season at this rate, because they'd be pushing for Europe, wouldn't they?
Well, yeah, there's still hope for them, yeah, isn't there? So,
who knows?
I think the English teams are ahead of the European coefficient, which would give them one more place in the Champions League, I believe, next season. So,
yes,
there's hope for several sides with regards to that, and hoping that also that the English teams progress as far as they can in this season's competition in Europe in order to maintain that number one spot in the coefficient league.
Yeah, well, talking of European places and teams in there, it's Nottingham Forest next, who travel to Ipswich.
Well, Ipswich is the only professional football team to be founded by an independent school. Forest were also founded in a pub, the Clinton Arms, and they swapped a sport called shinny, which was similar to hockey, for football. Ipswich 1, Forest 2.
Forest to maintain their march on Europe, it would seem, and another club looking to do just that is Manchester City, who host Brighton.
We'll say we're formed by members of St Mark's Church to encourage young men to play sport rather than scuttling and drinking. But you'll know what scuttling is.
Well, if I don't, you're going to tell me.
Well, I'm going to tell you, because there used to be lots of different gangs in Manchester around the time that football started to become more popular, and they used to organise fights, which were very violent, and it was also, women did participate in scuttling also, and in the drinking. Brighton were founded at a meeting in the Seven Bars Hotel. Kate Bush played there in 1977 before recording her first album. Manchester City 3, Brighton 0.
Okay, City, rejuvenated City to beat Brighton. I'm very much looking forward to what you're going to tell me about Southampton at home to Wolves on Saturday.
Well, Southampton were originally called St Mary's YMA, and they were named after the church where the minister encouraged young men to play sport and abstain from alcohol. Despite this, the team would celebrate successes in Giddens, a licensed premises nearby. Wolves, also founded by a church, were called St Luke's FC in early days, and the players would frequent and celebrate in the Fighting Cocks Inn. Southampton 1, Wolves 1.
Okay, a valuable point that would be. We've spoken in the past about how Wolves need to get these points in the bag if they're going to avoid relegation, and I think they can look forward to at least one away at Southampton. 5:30 tea time game. It's Bournemouth versus Brentford.
Well, something I think you would have enjoyed, Matthew, is when you used to travel to away games, was that Brentford's old ground at Goodison Park used to have a pub located on the Four Corners, or by the Four Corners. 4 pubs you could go to.
I remember it well.
And Bournemouth, they were founded at a meeting in Abbott's Auction Mart by 8 football enthusiasts who chose Bournemouth Rovers as a name. I didn't go through all of the Football League clubs, but I'm not sure there's that many that would have been formed, or the original meeting would have been at an auction house. But that seems to be the case with Bournemouth. Bournemouth 2, Brentford 0.
Okay, Bournemouth to get back on track in their quest for European football. Well, as Brian leaves through another copy of his encyclopedia, we're going to take a quick half-time break, and we'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the second half of this week's Premier League predictions with myself, Matthew Christ, and football historian this week, Brian McClair. And we've reached Sunday's games, and there's 2 at lunchtime at 1:30. The first up is a London derby. It's Arsenal-Chelsea.
Arsenal were formed, the first name was Dial Square in the Dial Arch pub in Woolwich, before they moved north of the river and eventually became Arsenal FC. Chelsea was founded in the Rising Sun pub on the Fulham Road. Other names that were discussed before they settled on Chelsea were London FC and Kensington FC. Arsenal 2, Chelsea 0.
Well, what a coup that would have been if they'd called themselves London FC all these years on. Just think of the marketing possibilities they would have had with that.
That's what I was thinking. When I was reading, I thought they'd have missed something there,
Yeah, the copyright they would have had on that. Well, talking of London and London derbies, there's another one at 1:30. It's Fulham at home to Tottenham.
Well, Fulham were founded by cricket-playing worshippers of St Andrew's Church, and they are the oldest of London's professional sides. Spurs were also founded by a group of schoolboys who were members of the Hotspur Cricket Club. And Tottenham are the only non-league team to win the FA Cup, Matthew. Fulham 1, Spurs 3.
Okay. Tottenham to burst Fulham's bubble, it would seem there. And finally, we've got one of these random evening games on Sunday night, and it's your old club, Manchester United, travelling to Leicester City.
Well, this is maybe my favourite one that I discovered, Matthew, and that Leicester Fosse, a precursor of Leicester City, was founded after a meeting in a garden shed in the garden of 2 Fosse Central in Leicester. Each member, or each person who joined on that particular day, or subsequently paid 9 pence and a further 9 pence to buy a football. So it's good to recognise that while forming a football club, they needed to purchase a football. Newton Heath, who eventually became Manchester United, were about to go out of business in 1901 after 7 years of existence, until a dog went missing. It belonged to the captain, Harry Stafford, of the team and landlord of the Bridge Inn. It was found at a brewery owned by John Henry Davis, whose daughter had grown fond of the dog. Davis made Stafford an offer for the dog, and Stafford would only sell if Davis cleared Newton Heath's debt. Davis eventually acquiesced, and we ended up with Manchester United, who have had a very interesting season. Leicester 1, Manchester United 3.
I mean, I was going to make some kind of comment about another dog going missing now, and maybe somebody coming in and clearing United's debts and everything in 100 years' time. People saying how everything. Yeah,
well,
I mean,
is that? I'm not so sure if there was a dog involved when Jim Ratcliffe decided that he would come in, but yeah, somebody coming in, but it would need to be something with a very interesting and expensive dog.
Yes,
because it's quite a considerable debt, which just seems to be going up and up and up.
Yeah, I think if there was a dog at Old Trafford, it would have probably been made redundant by now. But On that note, we will wrap it up for this week, and we'll see how Brian gets on. Let us know what you think, whether you've got any more interesting anecdotes about football clubs and where they're formed, and famous dogs and pub names. And we'll see you again soon. Goodbye for now.